customer-centric culture in your organization. This talk will be delivered by Senior Vice President, Head of Customer Engagement Network, Axis Bank, who is a values-based leader with a track record of building people and performance-driven cultures. He has successfully managed global-scale people operations, ensuring high-end talent acquisition and retention for specialized skills. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now welcome Mr. Parag Deshpande, please.
Raj had a very, very interesting session. I think the omni-channel is a great, everybody has an opinion about it, and difficult to kind of deliver on that. And I don't know how I'm going to follow up with maybe some people will find it a little dry subject about a culture. But I think we'll realize that, how important and what we need to do for all of this to work, for omni-channel to work. I'll just give you an example, starting from where perhaps Taj left, is that on every channel today you build the silos which are contained within itself. So customer goes from one channel to another channel. They are not able to service. If in the banking parlance, a customer calls a contact center and he just had been to branch. There is no record of the fact that a customer went to a branch. How can I do it? I'll have to find out a ways. We are trying to kind of have the token number and get that token number data centrally somewhere. But everybody who is designing a customer journey needs to put customer at the center of it, right? One of the example I wanted to give was Jeff Bezos always had a vacant seat in every meeting because that is for the customer, right? And then there is Starbucks who had 2 chairs, one for customer, other for employee. So CX and EX both. So really looking at the culture of the organization, which starts from the top. I don't have to say this. I think when you heard about this topic, you would have expected that Parag is going to say this. It has to, right? There's no other way. So when this topic came to me, it is tough, right? So what is culture? What is customer-centric? These are the 2 aspects of it that we need to. Culture is core values and behaviors, right? In this, you're talking about customer-centric values like customer trust, or like Rajiv mentioned that buzzwords that we need that bring us all together and for a common purpose. So if I say customer centricity is one of the key values of Axis Bank, and I constantly reinforce in every channel that is where you have employees of Axis Bank, they are always thinking about what happens if customer goes to other channel, right? That is customer centricity. And then having that in your the core values is going to be extremely important, right? And that's what Rajiv had mentioned in the morning. During the lunchtime, I mentioned to him that you perhaps have already done my presentation, because his slides were really about how to build a culture inside your organization. So you had customer as one of the value there, and that's how you start, right? Then you create a standard. There are measurable standard, and I have a slide on that. We'll take you through that, right? So we'll go to the next slide. On the right-hand side, you will see the examples. Customer centricity, ethics, transparency, some people have 8. If you want to really benchmark yourself, I feel that Zappos has a very good framework around it, and Zappos has really done seriously well around how to kind of make it happen for their organization. So these are 3 examples of what can a value or a core behavior can be under it. So anticipate customer centricity is the core value that I'm talking about. What are the behaviors under that? If you have to clearly define this, which is the priority for your organization, because a crisp and an important message needs to be given in a manner which has actionable intelligence, not just a high level statement, let there be light kind of a statement. So here if you see, I anticipate customer needs and deepen the relationship. That means when I receive a call, if you are a contact center agent, that I understand your stated and unstated needs. And then I deepen the relation, I use it for upsell and cross-sell, right? So you clearly mentioned two things in one statement to your front channel. These are two things I want from you. So your servicing is a coffee, right? And the whipped cream is the sales for me. And you do sales only if you've done well on your servicing. I carry customer till the end and ensure the solution is given. And there are measures, you can measure this. Repeat call rate, repeat interaction rate. Customer went to branch and then called contact center. That means branch didn't solve the problem. So all these behaviors that you define will have an associated metric. And only if you have the metric, you will be able to drive the behavior. Because in India or anywhere else in the world, what gets measured gets addressed. Third is, saying no is okay when it is good for the customer and the bank, right? It's a fraud, and I want to say that I'm not going to, somebody calls me and says that I'm customer, and you please, give me information about my FD, and if I'm not sure, it is good for the bank and it's good for the customer. I'm not going to budge. Whatever they may say, I know Parag, I know Ratan, I know 𝗖𝗂𝗶𝗏 and I'm going to escalate you. Even then, you're not supposed to say anything on that call or in a branch interaction. I respond promptly to the internal and external customer. I expect you, as a central team, if a branch writes something, a customer is sitting in front of the branch, unlike the contact center where you have a knowledge management portal, you have coaches on the floor, branch doesn't have all that. So there is a central desk and somebody is taking a call there. You have to receive a call because somebody is sitting with the branch RM, and are we supporting branch RM good enough? So similarly, you have to, the point is that not to take you through each one of them, but just an example of what is the value and what are the, really the behavior that you're expecting. And then we go to the next level where, we'll see the metric around that as well. So let's go to the next slide. So standard, next is the create and communicate a servicing standard. So as I said, for each of the behavior, there will be a standard. I want you to take a call. The standard is my service level needs to be 80-20. 80% of the call will be taken in 20 seconds or 90-10. I think TRAI is talking about 90-60 now, whatever it is. 90% of the call to be taken within 60 seconds of customer coming onto IVR. That's the standard you define for the behavior that I'll pick up the call when the customer calls, right? So you have to define the standard. So it's not just having a KPI. That KPI has a standard that you will like to reach. That is important. And empathetic customer treatment. So one thing you have to always remember is that customer has other choices. They can go to other brand. And it's not, I'm not doing a earth-shattering rocket science here that nobody else is doing. Most of the services very quickly become commoditized, right? So you have to make sure that we have that customer treatment aspect. That in my previous organization, customer treatment was such an important. Rajiv, you can also kind of vouch for that. It's an amazing way we in American Express, when we were talking about a customer treatment, even if you didn't know, even if it was a service no scenario, how do you handle it so that you do not make customer feel bad? Or he has shared a OTP on a financial transaction, which is clearly customer's mistake. How do you not make him feel like a fool, right? That's the treatment part of it is very important. So we're just kind of sharing with you what I mean, this is all I can share with you because, I have done it, okay? And it is example of how the cultural, transformation can start. So first we need to define what, right? So, what is the vision, right? I want to provide ability to customer to interact with us throughout their journey on a channel of their choice. Okay. Now, this is a statement for my product owners, okay, and the Scrum teams who are doing the digital transformation. This is what the goal is. I am a customer service person. I am setting a vision for my digital transformation team. You need to have a seat at the table. You are the advocate of the customer inside the organization. The digital transformation head may be the MD's favorite right now because he is delivering on certain important metric for MD, but you are a customer trust or advocate inside the organization. You should never forget that. Because end of the day, if we build something substandard, that's going to cause even more problem to the organization. So then if you define that, and then you next come to why, and this is where the sales related discussion which was happening, right? Can contact center be only servicing? And the question is absolutely not. Nobody is going to fund you if you do that. The contact center needs to have the higher NTV acquisition if you are doing a telesales work. If you are completely inbound channel, servicing is definitely the primary objective, but then you need to have a deeper ETB penetration. Then you need to have the most efficient servicing channel, okay, in terms of cost to income ratio is one of the measures for that. You measure across all the channels and then have a champion challenger between all the channels, right? So today, the branch network is sitting at 40, contact center is sitting at 22. Clearly, you know where to invest for ETB, which is the channel, better channel for you to invest. Last is the lower churn. Even not just churn, somebody said that, contact center is about not losing the customer. Yes, that's important, but that's not the only thing. But that is definitely an important point that, if the customer is coming to the channel irritated, how do you ensure that you are able to retain the customer? And we measure all that. Now, on the right hand side, if you see, just a little bit about myself. I'm not a contact center person. Though in last 2 roles, I have been a totally contact center. Now everybody knows me as a contact center person. I'm actually a risk management professional. When I started my career, I used to run, know all the standards like ISO 27001, which is the information security standard, and I used to work in a consulting engagement where we implemented ISO 27001 based information security, or a 𝗂𝗏 based IT implementation. 𝗂𝗏 is another standard. So I like to implement with a standard in mind. When I came into the customer service area, I did not find the standard for a long period of time because I was in Amex, and Amex itself is a gold standard for customer service, so we didn't require an external standard. But then when I started looking at, is there a standard in the market? And the COBC is a standard. And if you see on the right hand side, service quality and revenue, cost, customer satisfaction and profitability. All of this is the responsibility of contact center or a branch or a RM network, whoever wants to do the physical or a digital or a voice touch point to the organization. So just kind of sharing the thing with you that each one of the behavior can be tied back to a metric. Each of the behavior can be tied back to a metric. And I don't want to go through each one of those metrics. If you have questions, we can discuss this slide in more details. These are leading metrics on the left hand side, on the right hand side is the lagging metric. Your MD is going to ask you about the lagging metric. You have to believe, based on the behavior, which leading metric you want to track. This year, next year may be different. Your priorities change. So it's very important that you look at this, and these are all come from COBC standard. So I would say that, strongly that you should look at COBC as a standard. And anticipating and fulfilling the needs. So know your customer, value them, use the customer data to anticipate needs and fulfill. I think Harmeet was talking about it, how Dish TV has used the data to really, anticipate the customer needs. Understanding explicit and implicit needs and creating a wow experience. So this is what I think the anticipating and fulfilling needs from a culture standpoint. And then the sales, service before sales. So though we want to do the sales, the services before sales, as I said, coffee and a whipped cream example. Because when you do the sales, it's about your product, your services, what it can do. When it is about the customer, it is anticipating what is your need, what problem you are facing, and how my product can solve it. That is a consultative discussion one needs to have. So coming back to, again, Harmeet, where Harmeet left, perhaps starting from there, is that first thing is to understand the segment of customers. Millennials, Bharat Bank. What is Bharat Bank? Hinterland. So I was looking at the contact center data, and I saw that I receive some significant amount of calls every month. and I saw how many of them came from the Bharat Bank, which is the hinterland, and you will not believe it is not more than 10%. Not more than 10. Why? Because I only speak in English and Hindi in my contact center. Though I have some people, so I can technically say that there are 11 languages are there, but not 11 languages are available 24/7. Only English and Hindi is available 24/7. And also the certain dialect of Hindi. Believe me, Hindi is the toughest language to crack. You can do some Marathi, Gujarati, whichever language, and you will be okay for that one state. But Hindi is very difficult. I have a contact center in Hyderabad. I don't think they can talk to Meerut guy, even if it is Hindi. Okay, so I think there is, looking at understanding the segment and needs, customer channel of choice, language of choice, vernacular language, very specifically in Indian context, very important. Device and browser that they're using, you need to know all that and you need to be supporting all that. And if you're not supporting a certain browser, you should be absolutely clear. And each one of your front channel should know कि हम नहीं करते support. So you don't create an expectation that on that they will get the same experience. But when the customer calls on the contact center, agent is not aware कि ये Firefox नहीं support करता है. If that is the case, if that happens, then he's not able to answer and that will be a detractor. So last point I wanted to make. So thanks for the time check. So how do we achieve it? How do we anticipate the customer needs? So I'm not going to leave with a high level concept. This is something that we are working on right now called service data lake. Can I pick up the information from internet banking, mobile banking, ATM, POS, IVR, live chat, get all this data into service data lake from the core systems like card core system, liabilities core system, Finacle or whatever FlexCube you are using, all that data coming into the service data lake related to an interaction or a transaction. And then you have a CRM, servicing portal and knowledge base. Create insight out of it like Harmit mentioned, and then tie it back to the channel in a real time. When the call comes, I know the attribute which I will give a personalized anticipatory service. कि तेरा checkbook खत्म हो गया मेरे को पता है. So my chatbot can say your checkbook is over, press 1 if you want to reorder. That is anticipating the need. And that is possible if I get this data centrally somewhere, create a nudges, and then I present the nudges. So I have nudges today. My problem is my nudges delivery library to the real-time channel is not supporting 1500 TPS. Okay, transaction per second. It's totally technical challenge that we are facing right now. So you need to think end to end. As a business leader, you can't sit on the fence and say that I'll deliver business numbers and that's it. I have to worry about a TPS that this solution is going to not support at this point of time. And the last is exceed expectation. Again, as I said, do not set the expectation that you cannot meet. Your error when you face on a digital banking, if you give a right message on your error, if any developer in the room, if you take little bit more time, or you go and talk to your developer folks, that थोड़ा time लेके अगर error message ठीक से draft करोगे, तो मेरा 10 call से हो जाएगा यहाँ पे, right? So that's very important. How do I make sure that I set the expectation with the customer, and I, meet the expectation? So that's it. I mean, it was a quick. Perhaps we will share the slides with you.